So that will give us factors that we can look at in basically what's called our global climate. So Bill Mollison outlined numerous factors that comprise our global climate in the book, The Designer's Manual, which is a relevant topic for discussion these days due to global warming. In present, we were going to try to give to you here a better understanding of the cyclical nature of the climate, and it's bigger than just discussing CO2. So CO2 is easy. It's getting hotter, it's CO2, that's the problem. But it's actually a bigger subject than that. It's a lot more complicated. So we want to look at the other factors that are driving our climate's changing currently with CO2, plus other factors. So below are a series of pictures that reflect the interconnecting factors that give us the mosaic behind temperature and tropical climates, wet and dry deserts and rainforests on a bigger or what is a macro scale. So here we start to see that there's a dance or an oscillation between the sun and the earth. It is not static. It's not the same distance ever. It's always moving, and when it's moving it. So the distance to the planets, between planets, creates one of the factors that we can measure. Radiation comes from the sun, and as the radiation comes into our planet, it's the mixture that we have, CO2 being one of the large aspects of the mixture, but also if we have volcanoes, that could be ash, dust, pollutants. We put lots of things into the air currently when we burn things. At this point, we get a reflection. So here, 51% of the radiation coming from the sun is absorbed by the earth and maintain this heat, the others being reflected. The greenhouse theory describes that with the incoming solar radiation and the scattering of aerosols, we can cool the planet. So if that was an issue before, we had global warming. Everybody was concerned that we were going to have global cooling because we were putting too many aerosols into the air, and it was actually reflecting the sun. Okay, so that's an issue also. So this greenhouse effect, here we come in. We have a greenhouse gaseous effect, the reflection, and we have what's called a energy balance. So how is this energy balancing on a daily basis? So we have these greenhouse gases, an infinite amount. The scale is really big, and on a daily basis with the moving, the airstreams, it's so complicated. But the major thing that we can understand is look at like low-hanging fruit. It's easy to see that like 85% of the total is made up of this one gas, CO2, right? It would be a big factor in moving, right? But there's also other micro factors that we may look at. So factors influencing our planetary climate systems. We need to understand that the climate system is a fundamental support for the thing we absolutely depend on for our health, our life, for food, fresh water, natural constraints on infection, diseases, and production against extreme weather events and disasters. So another concept in permaculture that a lot of people that once they move introduction to permaculture, start to study permaculture more, you start to get into the concept that I can help someone. And if I can, then disasters and disaster relief, or if there's a tsunami. Well, if the tsunami came again, right? You guys may remember that, might be a little young. But at that point, when I was living here, I didn't really have any skills. I didn't know what to do. I didn't go help. Didn't know what to do. What am I going to do? I'd be a bird. If I went there, how could I help? But today, I think I'd have to get in a car. I'd have to drive. Because I think I could help. I could help people to rebuild shelter. I could help them to grow food. I could help them even with medical. I've been medical trained since then when I worked offshore. So these are things that I think I have a responsibility. So understanding the climate, understanding mitigations, understanding how we interact with it so that we can grow food, we can build better shelters, we could build homes that don't collapse like in an earthquake from natural building. These are things where permaculture starts to give us that empowerment. We can do something.